Live streaming
screen
is on.
and this slides.
Yes, sir. See,
Okay. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasva Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasva Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasva Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Okay, so we'll continue with IMDG, whatever the remaining topics are there. Like we discussed all the classes, dangerous goods, parts, everything yesterday. So today we'll discuss how the amendments and process is done for any changes, and then some documents and what is HNS protocol like that. So first is this introduction we did yesterday to avoid the dangers of the ship because of dangerous cargo, fire, etc. During 1900s, there were two world wars and subsequent rapid industrial growth accelerated the transport of dangerous goods. So industrialization led to dangerous goods. And then in SOLAS, it was first given in 1929, the international conference, which recommended about this dangerous goods list. And in 1948, it was first adopted. So it's around 100 years this started. Then for Marpol in 1973, it was recognized to preserve the environment. So from 1973, they are still thinking about marine environment and protection with marine pollutants and dangerous goods. Now, latest is we are trying to avoid noise pollution, INF code, which you have, that is irradiated nuclear fuel, and then the last is noise pollution in the IMDG code. Now, there are a lot of new advancement and technology, even using AI for avoiding noise pollution to marine environment. Consequently, provisions were adopted and are contained in MARPO 73, 78, as you know, Annex 3, and it was implemented through the IMDG code. So now, how the changes take place? There are so many changes in the world regarding the properties of the cargo, discovering new cargo, how to transport them, what are the new properties, new researches. Cargos also, all old cargos change their properties, new researches are done. So all these amendments come into the code, and there is a new edition of the code upcoming every 2 years, in which all the new amendments are there. So the 2 year periodicity of amendment to keep the code up to date from the maritime transport operation aspect. So you must have seen on your board 2012 edition, 2014, 2016, 2018. The latest is 2022 edition returning. So to the UN model regulation, which is expected to continue, will provide the source for future updates of the IMDG code, also on a 2 year basis. The IMDG code has become mandatory since 1st January 2004. So it became mandatory from 1st January 2004. There is a ratification process. When it is completed, it becomes mandatory if till the time there is no objection. Learning objectives. So these are the things which we already saw. What is dangerous goods which can cause fire, spill, or toxic vapors, or, or explosion like that, harmful to ship, crew, or environment. In dangerous goods list we already saw, and we will see today some international conventions like SOLAS and MARPO. So we know dangerous cargoes, oil, liquid gases, and solid materials having chemical hazard, solid bulk material hazardous in bulk. Then dangerous cargo has harmful substances in package form which are covered by Annex 3 of Marpol 7378 and dangerous goods in package form covered by IMDG code. So it contains the dangerous goods in packaging tanks which are of appropriate strength and which will prevent the goods escaping. The code is based on an internationally agreed system which uses hazard warning labels and other identifying marks to identify dangerous goods in transport. So labeling, we did already yesterday, there are labeling of the classes, marking and placarding. So main thing is this is an international system, so all the precautions and things, whatever is agreed internationally, it's put. Then standard documentation is there. We saw cargo, shippers manifest, and document of compliance. And segregation parts, storage parts, emergency response. Also, we will see today or tomorrow whenever we have. So prevent injury and damage, harm to marine environment, and free and unrestricted movement of facilitating the cargo. Layout of the IMDG code we have already done, volume 1 and 2, and their contents, and then testing, volume 2 has dangerous goods list, then appendix, a generic list, and proper shipping names, glossary of terms, alphabetical index. The supplement has emergency response, medical first aid, reporting procedures, IMO, ILO guidelines for packaging, transport units, safe use of pesticide, international code for irradiated nuclear fuel, plutonium, radioactive waste. Then this is the dangerous goods list of 18 columns. What are the columns we did yesterday? This is a quick revision. The IBC packing special provisions, UN tank bulk container, tank special provision. Then emergency schedule for fire and spill, storage and segregation requirement, properties and observation, and UN number. Now we start today with HNS convention. So what is HNS convention? Hazardous and noxious substances convention. So it is an international convention on liability and compensation for damage in connection with the carriage of hazardous and noxious substances by sea, 1996. HNS Convention aims to ensure adequate, prompt, and effective compensation for damage to persons and property, costs of cleanup and reinstatement measures, and economic losses resulting from the maritime transport of hazardous and noxious substances. It is based on the highly successful model of civil liability and fund conventions, which cover pollution damage caused by spills of persistent oil from tankers. It will establish a two-tier system for compensation to be paid in the event of accidents at sea involving hazardous and noxious substances. So, what do you understand? That there are, of course, so many hazardous and noxious substances, and initially there was a convention to avoid any fire damage or any problems because of hazardous substances. पहले ये HNS कन्वेंशन एक था जो हैजार्ड्स और नॉक्शियस सब्सटेंसेस से रिलेटेड जो भी रूल्स रेगुलेशन थे उनकी लाइबिलिटी थी कि अगर ये पानी में गए इससे कुछ डैमेज हुआ तो इनका कॉम्पनसेशन देगा कौन. सो और उसको देगा भी तो जल्दी देगा, प्रॉम्प्ट तरीके से देगा, इफेक्टिव तरीके से देगा, कौन मॉनिटर करेगा, जो पर्सन्स और प्रॉपर्टी को डैमेज हुआ है हु विल डील विद दैट, costs of cleanup, reinstatement measure, wherever there is a spill, who will clean up, who will ensure to revive that place, economic losses resulting from maritime transport of hazardous and noxious substances, and everything was covered in HNS convention. So it is similar to, there is something called civil liability and fund convention, where it is written that if there is a cargo loss, who will pay what, how much shipper, how much receiver will pay, what are the solutions, arbitration, जैसे मांडवाली करके bargain करके we can manage, or we have to be give the specific SDI, SDR, special drawing units, the money as per the agreed system or treaty. So fund convention, they all collect fund, and in case of any spill accident, they take fund from that to pay to the whoever is incurring the loss, which cover pollution damage caused by spills of persistent oil from tankers. So any damage is caused by oil from tankers, it will be covered from this HNS convention. It will establish a two-tier system for compensation to be paid in the event of accidents at sea involving hazardous and noxious substances. So there is a two-tier system. Initial compensation, something to start the work, and then final compensation after all the paperwork, formality, the work is done. Tier 1 will be covered by compulsory insurance taken out by ship owners who would be able to limit their liability. So initially they will give a compulsory amount. In those cases where the insurance does not cover an incident or is insufficient to satisfy the claim, so initial amount they will give. If that is not sufficient, then there is a second tier of compensation will be paid from a fund like this fund convention, made up of contributions from receivers of HNS. So all people, they always put something in the fund, and whenever there is a issue accident, the fund is distributed. Contributors will be calculated according to the amount of HNS received in each member state in the preceding year. So whatever amount you are putting in, similar to that share, you will get the amount in case of emergency. By 2009, HNS Convention had still not entered into force due to an insufficient number of ratifications. So there is a ratification process where all the countries sign and then it comes into force. So in 2010, it, this protocol of HNS Convention was designed to address practical problems that had prevented many states from ratifying the original convention. So they did some changes, whatever problems were coming in the protocol, and then it was accepted. And then after it is accepted, there is a like a buffer period where around, like you can see, 18 months. So it will enter into force 18 months after the date on which it is ratified by at least 12 states, including 4 states with not less than 2 million units of gross tonnage having received during the preceding calendar year total quantity of at least 40 million tons of cargo that would be contributing to the general account. This is a criteria for their convention and ratification. So this was the procedure for the ratification. As you can see some accidents here. Nova Scotia Museum. On 11 December at Canada, Mont Blanc, loaded with 2,600 tons of explosives, exploded, killing 3,000, injuring 9,000, destroying 6,000 homes. So just a small mistake can cause big havocs. On 14th April at Bombay, the vessel Fort Stinkine, carrying 1,000 tons of explosives and large quantity of cotton, exploded, killing 1,250 and destroying and damaging 15 ships. So it's a big explosions and they cause big damages. Grand Champ was loaded with ammonium nitrate, exploded and killing 480. So there are so many incidents involving dangerous goods. You see rescue being done from Henry's Pelican, Faux Violet. Hanjin Peninsula, November 2002, you can see the fire. Hyundai Fortune. Recently, also one SCI vessel was there catching fire. So, lead is a cargo in the dangerous goods list. If you know the UN number, you can see this is lead perchlorate solution. The class is 5.1, that is oxidizing substances. And then, what is the subsidiary risk, secondary risk, packing, and some 6.1. Same way, you have to find your category as per the different columns and then act accordingly. So this is column number 15 to 18 for the same cargo, separated from ammonia, compound cyanides, and sulfur. Reacts vigorously with sulfuric acid. So what are the chemicals it will react with? Cyanides, when heated, may form explosive mixtures with combustible material, powdered metal, or ammonium compound. These mixtures are liable to ignite when involved in a fire, may cause explosion. So this was the amendments part. Then we know that it started from SOLAS as we just saw. So what all things are there in SOLAS chapter 7, 1974 edition, which are connected to IMDG. First is of course definition, then to which ships it applies, like warship also, and all the different types of ships. Requirements for carried of dangerous goods. What are the requirements? Then what are the documents we have studied? Cargo securing manual studied. We'll see once more today. Reporting of incidents involving this dangerous goods. Definitions. Sometimes they can ask application कहाँ पे apply होता है? If the ship is going ahead or aft or what type of ships, warship, like that. Then documents, like we saw shipper declaration, cargo manifest, dangerous goods manifest, and all other documents, special list of cargoes manifest, and wherever possible, all the documents, crew list, tonnage certificate, including this, and the document of compliance, standard certificates, and the special certificate for this cargo. Storage and segregation, we already seen requirements. Then reporting of incident in case of any accident. Then this is part B, construction and equipment of ships carrying dangerous liquid and chemicals in bulk. So again, same definitions. Then what is it applicable to? Chemical tankers, requirements for chemical tankers. So in chemical tanker, whatever cargo is loaded, sometimes it might be also IMDG code, but whatever you find in the code, it should be there somewhere on the ship. Construction and equipment of ships carrying liquefied gases in bulk. Definitions. So this is application to gas carriers, requirement for gas carriers. Gas carriers is very important. I put many full playlist on my channel for gas ships. Requirements for gas carriers. Okay, sorry. So special requirements for carriage of packaged irradiated nuclear fuel, INF, plutonium, and high radioactive waste. So what you will do, take care of this. First, you should know the definitions. Then you should be applied to ships carrying INF cargo. So check the application in our as per our IH ship. And requirements for ships carrying INF cargo. Same. There are some definitions of dangerous goods. Package form means there should be proper packing. It applies to DG, DG ships carried in packaged form to all ships. Dangerous cargo carried in packaged form to all ships under SOLAS, including cargo ships less than 500 GRT also. Even if the ship is 500 GRT, this is IMDG is mandatory. Do not apply to ships, stores, and equipment. Carriage of dangerous goods is otherwise prohibited. Flag state government to issue detailed instructions about DG relating to emergency response and medical first aid, which is given in supplement. Carriage of dangerous goods in package form should be complied with the provisions of the IMDG codes. Whatever you are loading as dangerous goods in package form, it should be as per IMDG code. All documents should have proper shipping name. Trade name alone should not be used. So you are trading locally, then you can use some local name. But when you're loading internationally, then you should have a proper shipping name along with the surveyor with correct description as per the code. Then for transporting the cargo, whatever documents we should have, it should be signed certificate or a document of declaration which you will get from the company by the shipper stating that the goods are properly packaged, marked, labeled or placarded and in proper condition for carriage. Transport documents should include a signed container vehicle packing certificate by the person packaging the goods stating that goods are properly packed and secured and that all applicable transport requirements have been met. So what documents are required? Wherever a double doubt exists, the goods should do not comply with the applicable requirements. They should be rejected. So if you think there is not proper cargo, proper packing, labeling, then you can reject the cargo. Or if any does doubt something. All ships carrying dangerous goods lists should have special list or manifest with the classification, dangerous goods on board and the location. Alternatively, a detailed storage plan stating class and location of the dangerous goods is acceptable. A copy of these documents should be given to the person or organization designated by the port state authority. This we already saw. You have to get a dangerous goods management and give to the shore. Then all cargo unit or containers basically should be loaded, stored, secured as per cargo securing manual. This manual should be drawn up to the standard developed by IMO and approved by the administration. So reporting of incidents involving DG. What is the incident to the nearest coast state in case of loss or likely loss of dangerous goods overboard? Report to be as per guidelines adopted by IMO. So you saw, suppose a vessel ports side on 2 points crossing from going towards starboard side. So you will keep clear. Normally you will go maybe to the port and then clear. Otherwise, just wait or you can take a round turn also. Then if a vessel is abandoned or reporting is incomplete, the company must assume the said obligation placed on the master. So company also has to do the reporting if you are not able to do. Then there are many dangerous goods in solid form in bulk means material consists of particles of granules. This is the definitions. It applies to dangerous goods carried in solid form as per SOLAS less than 500 GRT. So you cannot carry these dangerous goods or harmful substances anywhere. Special requirement is there. Flag state governments to issue detailed instruction about DG relating to emergency response and medical first aid. So what are the documents? Proper shipping name, dangerous goods list or manifest. Copy of these documents should be given to the port state authority. where every port you have to give these papers for Port State Authority. Then what happened to load, stow, and secure safely as per nature of the dangerous cargo segregate incompatible goods. And precautions for minimizing the fire risk for goods liable to spontaneous heating or combustion. Good ventilation on deck, storage for goods, giving of dangerous vapors. If any cargo is giving some dangerous vapor, there should be some little bit definition, which we don't do generally, but theoretically we should know. So there is regulation 7.4 reporting of incidents involving dangerous goods, same as 6th. Then there are so many definitions as per the IBC code. Chemical tanker ship constructed. Chemical tanker ship also it is applicable because this also has dangerous flammable liquids class 3. Then ship constructed or laid on summer construction stage may be accepted. At a similar stage of construction, identifiable minimum 50 tons assembly recommended or 1% of estimated mass. So chemical tanker, whoever is constructed before 1st July 1986 or after today, what? How will you go about chemical tanker maintenance and learning? Bolo, anybody can hear? Constructed, and this includes the ships less than 500 GRT also. In case of modifications, alterations, repairs, etc. of an old ship, new rules will apply if the administration deems fit. So if your ship is getting old, you will have new set of questions. Then if you want conversion, the date on which the conversion commences will determine which rule will apply. Then what are the requirements for chemical tankers? I have mostly sailed on many chemical tankers. So it is mandatory for that as per IBC code for bulk chemical liquids. And vessel should hold a valid certificate, which is this document of compliance. Everything is interrelated, similar to in all respects to the chemical tanker regulations 8, 9, and 10, except that IPC code is replaced by the International Gas Carrier Code. So then you have code for gas cargo also. Gas carrier ships which are constructed to carry bulk liquid gas or other products listed in IGC chapter 19. INF code, International Code for the Safe Carriage of Irradiated Nuclear Fuel, High Level Radioactive Waste on board ship, adopted by MSC Circular 8.88/71 with provisions. So this INF cargo packaged radiated nuclear fuel, plutonium, and high level radioactive waste. Irradiated nuclear fuel persistent easy रखते हैं. And then for this you have uranium, thorium, and or plutonium isotopes to maintain self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction. So plutonium resistant mixture of isotopes reprocessed material extracted from irradiated nuclear fuel. Then there are some definitions for what is high level radioactive waste. These are waste or liquid resulting from reprocessed, say, irradiated nuclear fuel or solids which liquids have been converted. Applicable to all INF ships regarding of construction date, size, including those less than. So INF code is applicable to all ships less than 500 GRT, but not to warships, naval ships, and all those things. This is then in INF code, there are rights and duties of governments under the international law. And there are ships carrying INF cargo, they shall comply with obviously INF code and also other requirements. Vessel holding said certificate shall be subject to controls as required. So it will be tested also. So any questions till now? Anybody has?
No, sir.
So have you been asked any questions, or you have seen in the orals what questions they're asking on IMDG? Basically, they ask classes and then dangerous goods list, their contents. So this is the last thing for today. Marpol 7378 regulations for prevention of pollution by harmful substances carried by sea in package form. We have seen Annex 3. The contents, application, packing, marking, labeling. This is the contents of IMDG, not Annex 3. Application, packing. So these are the packages shall be adequate as per the contents in the. So we already saw three types of packing: hard, medium, less uh, less hard packing or less thin or less secured packing. Marking and labeling. So what are the requirements? So obviously there should be a label with the class label or labeled as marine pollutant, or any technical name also should be labeled with UN number. Then method of marking and affixing labels on package. So there is a requirement that it should be identifiable, the marking and labeling, 3 months from sea in water immersion. So the material and lashings and everything should be very durable. Packages containing small quantity may be exempted from marking requirements. Then of course you have, if it is a marine pollutant, you have to have a contained correct technical name in a certificate stating with marine pollutant. Documents by shipper. So shipper will give this document, shipper declaration, and it should be properly signed from him, or declaration that shipment is properly packed, marked, labeled, or placarded to minimize hazard to marine environment. Then documentation, list of harmful substances, where is they located, detailed storage plan. Copies must be with owner or his representative until substances are unloaded. Copy shall be given prior departure to Port State Administration. When the ship carries special list or manifest or plan for dangerous goods as required by SOLAS, document required by this regulation may be combined but must have clear distinction between dangerous goods and harmful substances. Harmful substances shall be properly stored and secured so as to minimize the hazards to the marine environment without impairing the safety of the ship and persons on board. Limited quantity. Certain harmful substances may, for sound scientific and technical reasons, need to be prohibited for carriage or be limited in quantity which may be carried on board one ship. In limiting quantity, due consideration shall be given to size, construction, and equipment of the ship, as well as packaging and inherent nature of the substances. So, what are the exceptions? Jettisoning of harmful substances is prohibited. You cannot put anything in the sea except for safety of the ship or saving life. Measures to be taken based on physical, chemical, and biological properties of harmful substances. That's why you should know the physical, chemical, and properties of any substance to regulate washing of leakages. If there's a leakage, you will wash, but where will you put? You cannot put overboard if it is a marine pollutant. So you have to know the requirements, provided that compliance with such measures would not impair the safety of the ship and persons on board. And what are the requirements for port state control operation? When the ship is in the port of another party, of course, there is a always inspection and is subject to inspection under HNS, so that they can make sure the ship and cargo are following safe measures. So you should know thoroughly about the IMDG and then follow them. Then you can be safe and answer also the interview questions of a surveyor in the port, and make your ship available for the inspection. The master's crew believed to be unfamiliar with the prevention of pollution by harmful substances. Then the party shall take steps to ensure ship shall not sail until situation is brought under control. So if you're not aware, they can detain the ship and give you time to go through and understand IMDG code. So this is the dangerous goods list. This is the dangerous goods manifest, a list of all cargoes which we are carrying with their class, comments, dangers, aquatic pollutant provision, escape. So there's no question, then we can finish for today, and then we'll continue tomorrow on packaging tanks and CTUs. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.